All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back for another week of Just a Fan podcast. Hey, as y'all can see, well, hold on. First, I'm sorry. Let me do the introduction. My bad. I'm mm, the NFL Encyclopedia, Coach Williams. What's up, everybody? As you can see, 27 days to NFL kickoff. Well, really, 27 days start tomorrow, but today's over with. So, 27 days to NFL kickoff. Chiefs Ravens live from Kansas City. Thursday night football. That direction. Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat. What's up, man?
I hate John Lynch.
Yeah, Eric is very upset. If y'all been keeping up with the news, man, this whole Brandon Ayuk thing has really been crazy, especially these last 48 hours. So, but we'll talk about that later. Right now we're gonna get into the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame game was last Thursday, between the Texans and the Bears. It went 3 quarters. The game got canceled due to rain. And then Saturday was the big ceremony for the players to be fully enshrined into the Hall of Fame. And we're going to go over each player. We can start with Julius Peppers, edge rusher, who was drafted by the Panthers in 2002. Also played with the Chicago Bears and the Green Bay Packers. He was in North Carolina majority of his life. Because he was born in Wilson, North Carolina, went to high school in North Carolina, played at UNC, and was drafted by the Panthers. So, he really didn't live outside of Carolina until he, played for the other 2 teams. But Peppers was definitely one of the best players during his time, especially at his position. What's up, Cleveland? And
what up, Frank?
Julius Peppers not drafted by the Bears. Julius Peppers drafted by the Panthers. Trust me, I know. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
He is definitely a guy who I said, to me, if I was his defensive coordinator, I would have lined him up and down the formation. Because to me he was a chess piece player.
If you think about it, a couple of times they had him lined up. What was it? They had him lined up at receiver, I believe, one time.
Probably receiver, tight end, something like that.
Panthers,
yeah, because he's very athletic. I sent a video in group chat. I don't know if anybody saw it, but he played a little running back in high school. Now he was a tall running back, but he played some running back in high school. So he's very athletic. He played basketball. He said that Michael Jordan inspired him to go to USC. But yeah, that's right. Yep, just said it. Just mentioned it just now. Played basketball at UNC. So Peppers was definitely a beast. Like I said, definitely one of the best pass rushers. Him and also a guy who we're going to talk about a little later, who's going to be going to the Hall. Well, I think he's a first year eligible. No, I'm sorry. He went in this year. He went in this year. I'm sorry. Dwight Freeney. We'll talk about
Oh
him as
yeah,
well.
yeah. You got
Those
to
two,
talk about Rainey.
those two were definitely some of the best pass rushers of their time. But Peppers, you got anything on him?
No, I just the athleticism, man. He was you know, I just don't see how you let a player like that walk out your building, you know. But I don't see how you let him do that. But he was extremely um productive his entire better. I mean, you know what? I'm not gonna say productive because productive is just like okay, he was kind of good. No, Julius Peppers was way better than kind of good. He
Yeah, no, he
was
was
he
great.
was he was amazing because again, it's the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good.
Exactly.
So he deserves to be there. I have no problems with him going in. Guys, we'll be honest with you, Just a Fan podcast. We didn't get a chance to watch much of the enshrinees because we are just fans. I mean, we got other jobs besides the podcast. So we're trying to get to a point where we can just do this full time. But we didn't get a chance to watch it. So we didn't see much of the speeches. And a player from one of my favorite team, excuse me, one of the players from my favorite team, let me rephrase that, who I watched when he was from the time he was drafted to the time he retired, was enshrined as well, and I didn't even get a chance to watch him. And typically, I try to watch the Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony whenever there's somebody from my team going in, which there are a lot of them. But you know, hey, what up, Titus?
What's up,
But
Tyler?
but yeah, man. Julius Peppers was a phenom. I mean, you think about everything that was said about him when he was coming out of school, going into the NFL. You know, he was. Everybody was trying to find after he got drafted. Everybody was trying to find a Julius Peppers.
Yes.
That defines you as a player, and a lot of people do that. You know a guy's good when every draft somebody's trying to find the next Julius Peppers, the next
Yeah.
Dwight Freeney, the
Yes.
next Patrick Willis, and so
Yes.
forth. They still ain't found the next Devin Hester. They ain't. I don't think we're gonna ever find another Devin Hester. We might
No.
be dust by the time we find another Devin Hester. And not to mention with the kickoff rules changing, ain't no telling.
Yeah. I mean, listen, and we'll get to Devin Hester, but for Devin, we might not find Devin Hester might be found in 2040 or something like that, or 2050. You never know. But Julius Peppers, man, I mean, he's probably the tallest, most dominant edge rusher ever because I can't think of anybody else that's like 6'6", 6'7", that truly dominated like he did and was athletic at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you sit here and say, yeah, we're looking for the next Julius Peppers, that is true because, Jadavion Clowney came out as an edge rusher. He was like, what, 6'6", 6'7", but
Yeah,
he never
but
lived
mid,
up to expectations.
very mid, very
You
mid.
know, uh, there was a couple guys that came out of North Carolina State. And you probably remember, I'm sure you remember both of them, especially one of them was drafted by your team, Mario Williams, and then Manny Lawson. Both of them was 6'6", 6'7", but
Mario had a decent
they didn't
career,
live up to expectations either.
yeah, Mario had a decent career. Manny
Yeah, he
Lawson kind of
did.
on the wayside, but again, it was very mid. We
Right.
talking about Julius Peppers,
Exactly.
somebody with that frame. Talking about somebody with that frame, but having almost the athleticism of a wide receiver. You know, absolutely, Titus. He said, whenever you change the game, everyone copycats.
Yep.
That's how you know you are a transcendent player when
Mm-hmm.
everyone's looking for the next insert name here. You know,
Right.
and it's like and you hear those comparisons on draft day. Oh, it reminds me of Julius Peppers, and they get in the league. It's like no. Kind of reminds me of Patrick Willis. They get in the league. It's like he's good, but no. It's like
Right. Right.
guys like that. Those are Hall of Famers. We don't have to go down the entire list. We can mention them and say something about them, but on the offensive side of the ball, though, Uh, Andre Johnson, uh, he's the first Texan, the first Houston Texan to get
Yeah.
in the Hall of Fame. And
Congratulations to the Houston Texans franchise.
you got to look at what this man did and the teams that he was on to be able to get to the Hall of Fame. Because he did not, let's be real. There was some decent Texans teams that he was on, and Texas fans that are watching, y'all know I'm telling the truth. There was some teams that's like, ugh, but he still got his.
No, he produced. He
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 still bad
he.
quarterbacks, interception throwing quarterbacks,
Yep. Yep.
backup quarterbacks,
Yep.
quarterbacks with no offensive line.
Yep.
He still produced in spite of.
Mm-hmm.
You got like guys in the Hall of Fame who produced because of. They had a good quarterback, they had a good offensive coordinator, they had this, that, and the third. That helped them along with their talent. I'm not taking that from them. But let's be real. Look at and thanks, Cleve. He got his horns up. But let's be real. Houston, until recently, from the time that the inception of the team to almost recently, has been just a constant turmoil of turnover.
Exactly.
So during that time when Andre Johnson was there, they were a legitimate playoff team. Didn't get very far, but they were a legitimate playoff team, and that was because of him. But man, what he was able to do to carve out a Hall of Fame career in spite of his surroundings in that franchise, that speaks volumes of his ability. And very low key, very soft spoken, very humble until Cortland Finnegan messed with him. Fun fact: I was at that game. Actually,
You know what? So I saw a video and I sent it to either you or put in the IG group. Andre Johnson said that he had that coming for a long time.
Yeah, Cortland Finnegan is known as a dirty player. Other players in the league have said the same thing about
Yeah,
him.
yeah. He said other players, not just on the team but around the league, was tired of him.
Yeah.
And Andre Johnson, and so then he just caught it from Andre Johnson. The thing is, and he's a quiet guy, but people forget Andre Johnson went to the U. Okay?
Thank you. I was about to say that. You couldn't back during his era in college. You couldn't play for the U and be soft.
No, you could, because guys
his
like
era
him,
on back. Yeah, no.
Him like Ed Reed and Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne.
Them was some gangsters, man. They man.
All the way. Listen.
They didn't pretend on that lifestyle. They was about that life.
Listen, all the way from the 80s until the end of Butch Davis era.
Yeah.
They were, like you said, it was no pretend. They were definitely about their life.
Yeah, them jokers stood on business.
Sean Taylor,
man.
Ed Reed, Jonathan Vilmer.
Yep.
Shoot. So you had a nerve to mess with Andre Johnson. See,
yeah. That was and not to get off of the college football, but that era of Miami players, it was like a fraternity, man. It was like,
man, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So they but it's the quiet ones you got to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
And like Andre Johnson was the quiet one, but it was like, don't take his kindness for weakness.
Exactly.
And that's what happened on that day. And I was blessed to witness NFL history, the most profuse ass whooping in NFL history. I was there in person watching it. And my mother, God rest her soul, who was a diehard Texans fan, I was sitting next to my mother. And she said, oh, whoop his ass! Whoop his ass!
What's up, Eric James?
And I never forget that. I say, Mama. She's like, what is that? What is that? So,
but you can't, but see, that's the thing. You can't sit there and mess with everybody, man, because when you do that kind of stuff, that comes back on you.
Yeah. And
That
I don't
comes
want to
back
make this
on you.
about Cortland Finnegan. I want to make it more about Andre
Yeah, of
Johnson.
course. I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, but yeah, a phenomenal player. And just again, and I'm gonna say this, so we can close on him and go to talk about
To the
another
next
player or
player.
whatever. But imagine, now think about what he did. Oh Lord, it's Anthony Lewis. Imagine what Andre Johnson did with all of that turnover and turmoil in that franchise. Imagine what he could have done
If he had a
with
better,
something
even
more
just a better
stable,
quarterback, just
a more
enough
stable environment.
stability, man.
Yeah,
Could you imagine if Andre Johnson had Peyton Manning at quarterback or uh
yeah. Any the Breeze, any of those guys from that
Breeze?
time
Yeah,
period. Yeah, if he had a more stable situation, not just at quarterback, but just within that building.
yes,
Um, I mean, he carved out a Hall of Fame career.
yes,
With all, in spite of all that, like I said before I started, in spite of all that, imagine what he could have done if he was in a stable environment.
yep.
Oh my goodness, yeah. But let's see, we
Another
Patrick Willis.
another player who went to University of Miami.
Oh, Dwight Freeney, you want to cover him next?
No, he didn't go to University of
Wait,
Miami.
hold on, wait. What are you talking about?
He went. Freeman went to Syracuse.
Oh, you talking about Devin Hester?
Devin Hester, who really was a cornerback and a
Uh-huh.
return man in college, was drafted to be a corner and a return man in Chicago, and they flipped him around, make him a wide receiver. Still kept his return man status, but Devin Hester, man, you talking about a return man? Now, one thing he did mention, and I'm glad he said something. He said, "Look, there's a couple of guys who need to be in the Hall of Fame just based off their return ability." He mentioned Brian Mitchell,
Oh yeah.
who's a former Washington Redskin when they were called the Redskins at the time. And
Philadelphia
he
Eagles,
mentioned Josh Cribbs,
Josh Cribbs.
who's a former Cleveland Brown. He
Hey, I
mentioned
got
those.
one for you. Dave
He
Make
mentioned
it.
who?
Dave Make it.
Yes, he should get in.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Dante Hall?
Dante Hall.
Yeah.
The human
So
joystick. Yeah.
so
Kansas City Chiefs.
but Devin Hester, Chicago Bear, um, clearly, if not the best return man of all time, he's definitely top two. Um,
It's funny because we didn't even mention Deion Sanders, but because how good of a corner he was. He's in
yeah, I
the Hall.
know.
He's in the
I
Hall
know.
as a corner, but it's
Yeah,
like he could have gone in if you took away what he did as a corner
yeah,
and
he
just
could have
looked
gone
at
in
what
as
he
a
did as a
return man.
returner.
Yeah.
He could have gotten the Hall that way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But Devin Hester, man, you couldn't punt the ball to him because you knew that at least he would have flipped the field on you. Okay, Devin Hester would have definitely flipped the field on you,
And
and
that's the worst. That's the least that could happen.
yeah, that's the least that could happen.
If not make a house call.
Yeah. Kickoff return, you had no other choice but to kick off to him because you can't kick out of bounds because that goes automatically to the 40-yard line. So, but Devin Hester and the Chicago Bears team, they went to the Super Bowl under Lovie Smith. They lost to the Colts badly. What you got on Devin Hester, man? How you feel about him?
I was never. I've never been a Chicago Bears fan.
Same here.
But when Devin Hester was back there, I had to watch. I had to pay attention. If there was a highlight on ESPN or anywhere like that, I had to watch.
Yes.
I had to watch. I was like, this, okay, he about to. Because you know how it was on those sports shows. If they showed a return, one or two things happened. It was a touchdown or a fumble.
Yep. Yep.
But if you saw Devin Hester back there, it was like, okay, this is about to be good. he was amazing. And they tried to shoehorn him in other positions. They wanted to play a little wide receiver. He did more in college at Miami, but in the league, they're trying to get him to be a receiver. That really wasn't his shtick. That wasn't his thing. He was just like, look, kick me the ball, and watch me work. And he was impressive with that. And to be able to get inducted to the Hall of Fame, because they beat us to get the Colts. Oh yeah, talk about the Saints. But for him to be inducted into the Hall of Fame as just a returner is phenomenal. Like these enshrinees this year, all of them are phenomenal because for one reason or another, which we're gonna get to the next person. Uh, we're talking about P-52, not P-51s like the planes in World War II, but P-52, Patrick Willis. Uh, you know, yeah, Reggie Bush was another good returner. But Patrick Willis played a very short career.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, because of injuries, he had to step away. But oh my God,
Yep.
For him to get in the Hall, that very short career. But if you look at his numbers, you're like, God, dog, he did all of that in that little bit of time. It's like, yes, he was amazing. He was the heart and soul of that Niners defense that got to the Super Bowl to play Baltimore back then. And that's what kept them during the Harbaugh era. He was there before the Harbaugh era, but he really hit his stride during the Harbaugh era. But I knew on draft day when they were showing those highlights of him at Ole Miss, I know you're gonna remember this. It was a hit on an LSU running back. LSU running back tried to jump the pile.
Yeah.
And Patrick Willis folded him like fresh laundry. Yeah. I like, but it was fun watching him play because you watch Wild Kingdom or one of those wildlife shows, and they talk about the lions on the Serengeti and they about to hunt.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Patrick Willis go from one hash mark all the way to the opposite sideline and chase down the running back from the backside and drag him down behind the line of scrimmage. It was like watching a lion tackle like one of them wildebeest or antelope. That's what it was like. And I was like, that's what he looked like, a doggone like a big cat. And what was crazy was as stocky as he was built, it was how fast he was. Like how he could get from sideline to sideline.
Sideline, yeah.
And it was like, God, dog, But yeah, he was amazing, and ain't no telling what would have happened if he hadn't had those foot injuries and the shoulder injuries and all other stuff like that. Because he probably had another 5-6 years left in him. I think he left the game probably 5 or 6 years earlier. And then to add to that, his running mate, because at that time the 49ers were running a 3-4, they had 4 linebackers. So you had a Ted and a Mike linebacker. And Patrick was the Mike. The Ted linebacker, Navarro Bowman, for those of y'all who know about him.
Siouxland High School.
They were like, yeah. Oh, you went to Siouxland?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But Navarro Bowman.
I'm gonna tell you a story off camera about him that I heard.
Okay. But Navarro Bowman was on a trajectory of a Hall of Fame career, had he not. And Niner fans, y'all remember this. I hate to bring up bad things because enough bad things are happening in the last 48 hours. But you recall when he shredded his knee against the Seahawks, and I want to say it was a playoff game. And to add insult to injury, he recovered a fumble, shredded his knee. He's laying on his back with a shredded knee, still got the ball clutched to his chest. The referee stands over him, looking at him holding the ball with a clear recovery, and signals Seahawks ball. And he came back from that injury, but he was never the same again.
Never the same.
He never had that explosiveness again. Had it not been for that knee injury, I think we'd be talking about Navarro Bowman probably going in the Hall in a couple of years because he was like a year or two behind Patrick Willis.
Yeah, that what y'all had under Jim Harbaugh as the head coach and Vic Fangio as
Vic Fangio
as the defensive coordinator, and let's not forget Vic Fangio was the linebackers coach for the Saints back in the Dome Patrol era for about 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Dom Capers was the DB's coach there as well. So it was no surprise the group of linebackers he had in San Francisco when it came to Navarro, when it came to Patrick Willis, when it came to Alden Smith. and I think Amar Brooks was your fourth linebacker. I
Hmm.
mean, you guys were just dangerous, man. You were dangerous. That defense was legit. Um, and and as far as the two inside backers, you're running it back again with Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner. You're literally
Yeah,
running it back again.
and there's two younger guys right behind them that a lot of people not talking about. And you're going to get a chance to see one of those two young guys. Uh, One of those two young guys play until Dre Greenlaw is back. And I think it's going to be D Winters and Jalen Graham, but D Winters is probably going to get that starting position. Uh,
Right.
and he's like a cheetah. He's built like those guys, Freaky Fred and Greenlaw. They're built differently from like the Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis
Now that is
because
true.
they're built more like like in the 80s. These guys would be strong safeties. They wouldn't be linebackers.
Exactly.
They're built like 80 strong safeties. You know, but they fly around and when they get there, they got there. They gonna hit you. But yeah, but that's enough about that. But let's go on. We talk about Dwight Freeney.
Defensive end, Syracuse University, first round pick, Indianapolis Colts. I'm gonna tell you something. When he came out,
He's an overcomer too
when he
because
came
of his
out,
size. Yeah,
6'1".
yeah.
When he came out, I wanted him on my team. And I wanted him because we had drafted Greg Ellis in the first round of '98. And Greg Ellis' first running mate opposite of him was Kavika Pittman, who never did anything. We drafted Ebenezer Ekubon in '99 from the same school that both of them went to UNC. Ekubon was a first round bust. And I wanted Dwight Freeney. Now, we ended up taking Roy Williams, but man, I really wanted Dwight Freeney because I felt like Dwight Freeney would have elevated Greg Ellis on the opposite side. But Freeney matched up with Robert Mathis and running that Tampa 2 defense, man, with Bob Sanders at safety, man. That was perfect because the Colts were always going to score points with that offense. And that just allowed Freeney to pin his air back and his signature move was that spin. That spin move, he put offensive tackles in a blender. He left them in a blender, trying to figure out which way he went,
And I
and
think not
he
to cut you
dominated.
off, but what helped him is I call him overcomer because of his size. That spin move helped him because he had such a low center of gravity.
Gravity, yeah,
It was
6'1".
hard to get hands on him to
Right,
block him.
right. And see, most offensive tackles at the time were about 6'4", 6'5", or taller, or even like Jonathan Ogden was 6'9", so that's an 8-inch difference. And
He could
one
get
thing I've
underneath.
one thing I've learned, someone like that gets low, and Von Miller was another one who always what we call grab grass. Okay, you reach down, you grab grass, or pick up a towel. Guys who can get low like that, offensive linemen ain't trying to reach that low. They not. They not trying to, man, shoot. They be off balance and everything. Nah. But Dwight Freeney made it happen. And he didn't just have a quick first step, his first two steps were also quick. So that also helped him with that spin move as well. So he set up offensive tackles, and like I said, having Robert Mathis on the other side helped. And he got himself a Super Bowl ring with that Colts team, man.
Yeah. So, but I think if you were going to use one word to describe this class, is overcomer. Overcomer is the word. You
Yeah.
had Patrick Willis, who didn't play very long, but still carved out a Hall of Fame career. You had Andre Johnson, who was in a dysfunctional building for the longest and still managed to carve out a Hall of Fame career.
Yeah.
Uh, the only person I don't think was an overcomer was probably Julius Peppers because he was just a phenom.
Yeah.
But both of this class, like Devin Hester becoming a a Hall of Famer as just a kick returner. Because you
Yeah.
have plenty of Hall of Famers who had kick return ability, but they got in because they were great backs, they were great receivers, great corners, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
he got in specifically as a returner. That's
Yes.
overcoming. You know, so yeah, I just think that that would be the in so many words the synopsis of this class, excluding Julius Peppers. You know, Dwight Freeney overcame because of his size. A lot of people like didn't look at him really seriously because he was so short. But he's like, I'm finna show you,
Yeah.
you
And he
know,
showed them.
and he showed him.
He
So,
sure did.
um, so I think in one word I would describe this class as in one word. If you ask me, it would be overcomer because
Yes.
they overcame what was going on around them, their physical limitations, all of that other stuff like that. They overcame all of that stuff to get to the Hall of Fame, the pinnacle of an NFL player's career is to, every player in the NFL, I would imagine, wants to be a Hall of Famer.
Of course they do.
And I'm like, I don't think, and if that's not in them as an NFL player, then why are you playing? Like, to quote another Hall of Famer, Ray Lewis, either you pissed off for greatness or you okay with being mediocre. So to get there is huge.
But
Now,
you know what though? Real quick, and I'm sorry to cut you off. Some players really are just okay with being mediocre. They're like, okay, I made it to NFL. Now I can just sit down and do nothing. That's what they want to do.
Mhm.
And I'm like, nah, that's not the way to be. And I'm not gonna get into all that, but um, then we had a couple other players who made it to the Hall of Fame in that class. Steve McMichael, 95 sacks, was part of that 46 Bear front defense.
teammates with Mike
Mike
Singletary,
Singleton, Dan Hampton,
Richard Dent, all of those
Richard
guys.
Dent.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that defense was dangerous. It was phenomenal. They had a heck of a run. Mike Dicker was the head coach. Buddy Ryan was the defensive coordinator. Um, yeah, that was definitely a dangerous defense. The other guy, I think is Randy. Is that his name? Let me see.
I can't pronounce it. This is
Yeah,
before
Randy, and I'm not gonna pronounce his last
Gradishar.
name.
Gradishar.
Gradishar. Okay, Gradishar. And he played with the Denver Broncos. Um, he was part of that Orange Crush defense in the '70s with Tom Jackson. They went to the Super Bowl in the 1977 regular season and lost to the Cowboys. That's when the Cowboys got the second Super Bowl victory. But congratulations, huh?
I was 2.
He said I was 2 years old.
2 years old. So, like, yeah, and everybody who knows me, who watches this, they know that I'm not a spring chicken. So that lets you know how long ago that was. Yeah, I was 2. But
Yeah.
go ahead. I couldn't y'all. Go ahead.
Yeah. In the minutes after the show, when Eric stands up, he's gonna pull a hamstring. Anyway,
No, I ain't dead. Hey man, I ain't.
Gonna make him a cover 2 corner.
Don't start that.
But anyway,
no, let's move on talking about the first year eligibility Hall of Famers for next year. Who's going to be eligible for the first time?
The first person on the list is everyone's favorite, the Tom Brady Slayer, Eli Manning. What do you think, man? New York Giants quarterback.
Should he be in the Hall? Is that what you're asking me?
Yes.
That's a tough one because as much as I don't subscribe to what Skip Bayless says, I have to use one of his lines. This is the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Very Good. He's got 2 rings, and he got those 2 rings in epic fashion by beating what most people would agree is the GOAT of quarterbacks. But again, we have to look at it from this standpoint. Quarterbacks don't play quarterbacks. Quarterbacks play the other team's defense. So, do I think he's a great quarterback? Yeah. Uh, but is he Hall of Fame? I don't know. I'm not gonna say a definite no, but just me personally, and folks that are watching at home, y'all chime in. Let us know. Let us know what you think about it. But I'm kind of I'm kind of on the fence about Eli Manning. So you guys chime in and let us know what you think.
I think Eli Manning gets in because he has the two Super Bowl rings, and I think he won MVP. He did. He won MVP both games, and I think that's going to be just enough to get him in. Because honestly, to me, he shouldn't get in. Okay, he was never a good quarterback, but he had Tom Coughlin at as a head coach. He had a very strong run game, and that front four was nasty both
Yeah,
years.
that defense, um, you know, that defense really helped him out, and I don't want to take that from him. Saying, well, he had a great defense because I mean there was some throws that he made in not just in the Super Bowl but throughout his time. It's like, okay, you know what? That's a uh that's a high caliber quarterback, and I want to be clear when I say I think that he's a high caliber quarterback, but maybe not quite an MVP. I mean, excuse me, Hall of Famer. So yeah, I'm just kind of on the fence about it. I'm not saying definitely no. Not saying that. Uh, but definitely it raises an eyebrow, it makes you think, that type of thing. Like, well,
I
let's
feel
let's pause for a minute and think about it.
because here's my thing, and it looked like you frozen. Eli Manning as a quarterback, I just feel like, and it looked like you're good now. If he would have been anywhere else, I don't think he has near the kind of career he had. First of all, he's a 500 quarterback when it comes to wins and losses. Okay, he led the league in interceptions 3 different years. Okay, if he's in, sorry Tristan, this is the first thing that comes to my mind. If he was in Washington, he's nowhere near what he is or what he was because he's just not that good of a quarterback. Like I said, I feel like Tom Coughlin as a head coach helped him out, try to hide his weaknesses as much as possible.
And he definitely had a killer defense.
He had a vicious front four in defense both years they won the Super Bowl. It was consistent. The only difference was Strahan was there in '07 and he was replaced by Jason Pierre-Paul. And they had a good run game. But I feel like I said, I just feel like if he was on a lesser team, we're not even acknowledging him for Hall of Fame. But he'll get in because those two Super Bowl rings and two-time Super Bowl MVP, and it's just enough. And like Titus says, he's a Manning, he's NFL royalty.
NFL, yeah.
Carl Stewart says the fact that he beat undefeated pitchers in a season nobody expected them to even make it that far will put him in. And
So so let me clarify. So to folks that are watching, the question was, do I think he should get in? Now, if you ask me a question and phrase it differently as to will he get in, I think he will.
I think he
But
will too.
do I think he should?
My
I
answer is
don't know.
no. No,
Yeah.
my answer is no.
His answer is no. My answer is I don't know. I'm, so there's that, um, but let's move on to who else is eligible.
All right, next guy. Baltimore Ravens edge rusher and got himself a Super Bowl ring. T Sizzle Terrell Suggs.
Yes, Does he deserve? Yes. Will he get in? Yes.
He is one of those pass rushers from that same era of the Freeneys and Julius Peppers.
He was a whole
Um,
problem.
3-4 outside backer, still rushed the edge, still got up the quarterback, still wreaked havoc, everything. Um, he did it. He did it. He was the man. Um, and when you play for that Ravens defense, it's almost it's like University of Miami. You couldn't been a slacker. You really had to play football. You really truly had to be a football player because Ray Lewis and Ed Reed would not have had it any other way.
Mm.
They would not have had it any other way. And so Terrell Suggs was definitely perfect for them
And even when he
on
was
that
older
defense.
and became the elder statesman of that Ravens defense after all those guys had retired, he still was highly productive.
Yes, he was. He was.
So
He definitely was.
so but yeah, I don't think there's much to discuss with Terrell Suggs. I
Nah,
don't
not
think
at all.
chime in at home with those of you watching at home, chime in and let us know what you think. But I don't think there's a lot of debate in that. I think he will get in on this next ballot and on his first ballot. And
He
I think
should get
that
on the first ballot. I don't know if he'll get in. I don't know if it'll be first ballot because
okay, so that's where
NFL
we
can be
differ. Yeah.
and NFL can be a little fickle, man. It can be a little whatever.
I mean, there's a log jam for the
It is,
Hall of
no, it
Fame.
really is.
There's a lot of people that should have been in, but that's because they just limit how many people can go in a year. So there's a
Yeah,
lot of people that's still on the outside looking in. But
yeah.
go on
Like
to the next one.
uh, former Buffalo Bills running back and Seahawks running back and played 1 year with the Raiders. Beast mode, Marshawn Lynch.
Ooh. I am personally a Marshawn Lynch fan. Let me start with that. I love his personality. I love his playing style. Even when he was playing for like a rival team of mine, I like, dang, I hate this dude, but I like him. Like, dude, man, I like Beast Mode as long as he ain't doing that to us, you know.
Right,
but
right, right.
but it was like then as after his retirement, you really get to see his personality come out. It's like you
Yes,
can't help but like the guy because it's like,
exactly.
dude, he's like, dog, he's like, I want to hang out with this dude. Like, he cool as hell, you know. And but does he have the numbers?
And that's what I'm looking at now.
And that's it.
Marshawn Lynch, where are you ranked? You ranked 29th at 10,432. You're above Otis Anderson, Ricky Williams, Clinton Portis, Matt Forte, Joe Perry, Chris Johnson, Derrick Henry, Sean Alexander, Earl Campbell. Now, Earl Campbell was in the Hall of Fame, but I think there was fewer games when he played.
Yeah.
Um, does he have enough? What I just say? Oh yeah, there you go, 29. Uh, that's gonna be tough, man. It's gonna be tough for him to get in because I'm looking at I'm looking at who is even in the top 20. There's some backs who's not. Corey Dillon is ranked 20th. He's
Mhm.
not in. Steven Jackson, I don't know when no, he's beyond eligible. I don't think Steven Jackson's even in yet. He's ranked 18th.
Hey, Frank Gore is number 3.
Well, Frank Gore just retired
He retired what
2020
3 years 2020. So yeah, he's got another year or two. Yeah.
before he's eligible.
Yeah.
Fred Taylor's ranked 17th and he's not in yet. So there's some guys who are even ranked in the top 20 who are not even in yet. So
And that's the issue. Is like, is it the numbers? Like, we
yeah.
enjoyed watching them play. We can't put everybody in the Hall of Fame and we enjoy watching them play. They got to have something behind them, number
Now,
wise, to substantiate them going into the Hall.
I will say this: he does have a ring, and he went twice. Maybe one day that might be enough to put him over the top. Maybe and get him in. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna guarantee it. I wouldn't mind seeing him get in. I'm not right now. I'm gonna just say he's not gonna get in, and I'm kind of on the fence if he should get in on that. But he may not get in, and I hate to say it, I really do.
Yeah, I don't think he can get in now with those numbers,
Yeah,
especially with the facts that you brought up, like these guys that are higher on the all-time rushing list that still are not in the hall and are eligible. Because I know there are going to be some voters that are going to say that. They're going to be like, well, wait a minute. I like Beast Mode too, but this cat got way more yards and he been waiting. You know what I'm saying?
right. Yeah,
So,
see,
yeah,
I didn't even know Corey Dillon's number 20.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
then there's a conversation to be had about those guys. Okay, he's number 20, but is that good enough to get in the hall? Okay,
right.
he's number 17. Is that good enough to get in the hall? That's gonna be the conversation that's gonna be had with these voters.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I mean, I guess I love Marshawn Lynch, but I don't know if he's Hall of Fame material. He had a great career, but I don't know if he's Hall of Fame material. Next person of note.
All right, another rival of yours, free safety Earl Thomas, Seahawk, mainly.
Okay, so Earl Thomas, University of Texas, West Orange Stark High School, which is like only a few miles from where I grew up in Beaumont, Texas. Um, uh, I don't know. That's another one I'm not sure about because
Yeah, I'm looking now.
does he have the numbers to substantiate saying yes, he's one of the greatest free safeties to ever play? That's what the Hall of Fame says. Your position, are you one of the greatest to ever play at your position? And I can't say that. Did he have a good run for a short period of time? Absolutely.
Sure did, but I'm looking for where. Hold on, okay, hold on. Let me go back up to the top because maybe I overlooked them. Cross, Woodson, Night Train, Charles Woodson, Ed Reed, Ronnie Lott, Darren Sharper, Dave Brown, LeBeau, Mel Blunt at 13, Irvison Walls, Lynn Barney, Aeneas Williams, Eric Allen, Doug Green, Ty Law, Primetime, Champ, ill. Where are you, Earl?
Exactly. The fact that you got to look that long, that basically like,
How many interceptions did he have in his career?
I'm not sure. Like I
You
said,
know,
he
I
had he had a run for a short period of time.
hold
He had a
on.
good run, but it wasn't a very long period of time. So that's my thing. So was during his time was he really good? Absolutely, but um, he's only 30 interceptions.
So
30
then,
inter-
oh God, he's way down there then.
exactly, exactly. So people get caught up a lot with um
Wow.
yeah, people get caught up a lot with okay during that little short run, but do the numbers back it up for him to go in the hall? Was he a great player during his era? Absolutely. Uh, but was
Yeah, that
was
hurts.
what he did transcendent? No. And to be in the hall, you gotta be transcendent.
God, yeah, that hurts. That
Yeah,
hurts. Yeah,
yeah.
that hurts.
Let's look at a couple of more before we talk about this top 10 of the NFL 100 because I have a lot to say about that.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't I bunch these four names together
All right.
so that way we can buzz through them. Akeem Talib corner.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Despite having one or two Super Bowl rings,
Right.
Adam Vinatieri,
Yes.
he should get in. It's gonna probably take him a while because he's a kicker.
Yeah. Kickers don't get respect, but I mean, he was one of the greatest.
Luke Kuechly,
No.
okay.
Yeah.
Marshall Yonder, guard, Ravens.
Yes.
I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, but we're gonna see how that plays out going into next year. So but there's some guys that we all love and I'm fans of, but I gotta be, you gotta like take off the fan hat and look at it from a analytical standpoint. And it's like, is this guy really a Hall of Famer?
Okay.
He's really good, but is he Hall of Famer? You know,
All right.
so
Eric, let me ask you a question.
mhm.
If you guys signed safety Tracy Walker, how do you feel about that?
Tracy Walker used to play for Detroit
Detroit Lions.
Lions. If the 49ers was to sign Tracy Walker, I wouldn't have a problem with it because the we have a young safety. The safety room is young. He would add some a veteran presence back there. So yeah, but the young guys have been tearing it up in camp though.
Okay.
And Tom Noah is an all pro. He's coming back. Jair Brown, he started to shine late in his rookie season, so he's going to be better this year. And then they just drafted Malik Mustafa, who is built like a Greek god and has been acting a fool in camp too. So they kind of got three safeties they can kind of interchange.
Well, I'll tell you what. You got four now. Breaking news. The 49ers are working on finalizing a deal with former Lions starting safety Tracy Walker per Matt Burrows.
He's solid. He's solid.
Walker,
I mean, he's not. Oh my God, we got him. Oh my God, I'm so happy. It's like okay, he's pretty good.
Walker, who has 43 career starts, had a workout with San Francisco today and is now expected to sign.
Yeah, yeah, he's pretty good. He's I'm not gonna say he's anything to write home about, but
Right.
he's pretty good. That's good depth. Because I still think one of these youngsters might beat him. They got a leg up because they've been in the playbook, and they've been in the system. I don't think he'll start unless he just comes in. He's a quick study. So
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
but yeah, that's not my concern with what's going on in San Francisco right now. It's John Lynch and how I want to hit him in the face with a bag of hot quarters.
Be nice. Be nice. All right. Anyway, let's move on to these guys who um
Oh my God.
let's go over the last of the top 10 list
The top 10 NFL 100 players
that finished this past Friday
as voted upon by their peers. Now,
by the
I
peers.
understand that their peers voted on this, but this list has been suspect since the onset.
I agree.
And I'm like, I'm really starting to feel like they voting for their homeboys or something. I don't. Some of these
Maybe
I
that's
agree
what
with,
it is.
but some of them I'm just like, come on, bro, no. Especially when we get to this top 10. So let's go ahead and start.
Number 10, Max Crosby.
Agree.
Number 9, Travis Kelsey.
Disagree.
Number 8, TJ Watt.
Agree.
Number 7, Trent Williams.
Agree. Best left tackle in football.
Number 6, Chris Jones.
Agree.
Number 5, Myles Garrett.
Agree. Definitely.
Number 4, here we go.
This a damn agree. This a damn agree. You're not gonna sit up here and tell me we might as well say the last four: Pat Mahomes, Christian McCaffrey, Lamar Jackson, Tyreek Hill.
There you go.
Now, in a vacuum, those four guys. Do I think those four guys should be in the top four? Possibly, yes. But in that order, no sir, no ma'am. No sir, no ma'am. I could agree that those four guys should be at the top. I do not agree the order that they're in.
I agree.
Pat Mahomes should be number one, period. Tyreek Hill's a phenomenal player. He's probably faster than my pickup truck. But no. He is not the best player in the NFL right now. And if you left it up to me, it would be number 4 would probably be Tyreek Hill. Christian McCaffrey would still be number 3. Lamar Jackson would still be number 2, and Pat Mahomes would be number 1. Flip 4 and 1. That's my belief.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad
and
at
then
you.
also, and I may not even put Tyreek that high at number 4 because I still feel like there are receivers that are more well-rounded than Tyreek Hill and better.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. Listen, Tyreek Hill is in an excellent system, and he's still a burner. Okay.
Yep.
So, and like you said, there's other receivers who are just more well-rounded than he is. Because you're not going to ask Tyreek Hill to do some of the stuff that these other receivers. And I know he's fast. I get it. So it's hard to be as fast as Tyreek Hill. That's special speed. But You're not gonna ask Tyreek Hill to do uh uh what you call it? What's that one pass? Jump ball, back shoulder pass. You're not gonna do a back shoulder pass with Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. And
Especially jump ball situation, no.
and I want people to understand I'm not hating, okay?
Exactly.
But Tyreek is not a route technician.
Nah.
He's not a route technician. He's not.
He's a burner.
He's a burner. He just you can't run with him.
Exactly.
You want to talk about route technicians? We could talk about Jamar Chase. We could talk
Justin
about
Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson. We could talk about Brandon Ayuk. Those are route technicians. Those guys are route technicians.
Right.
And Tyreek is not that. So I can't make him, I can't put him in my top 4, much less number 1 overall. I just can't agree with that.
Exactly.
And maybe all those people that couldn't cover him voted him number 1. All them corners like, man, I can't run with this cat. I'm gonna vote him number 1.
My thing is this: if you can't run with him, your defensive coordinator should know that. You should be able to. You need to learn how to scheme.
Scheme for him.
Scheme. And I know there's other fast players on the team. Jalen Waddle's fast, yes he is. But these days, the days of just regular old school cover 2, regular old school cover 3, regular old school cover 4 is out the door. There are more than one way to sit here and say, hey, look, I'm going to run cover 3, but I'm going to run it a certain way so that way I can minimize what these players can do against me. This is 2024.
I mean,
this is not 1994.
Combo coverages and everything. It's like,
yeah,
you run a cover 6 and the deep side is to his side, and that type of stuff.
Right.
Force him to run routes, but and the good teams have done it. But again, this is not to disparage Tyreek Hill. I want to be clear on that, but I do want to say that I vehemently am saying that he should not be number 1 in this countdown. And that's all we're saying. So
I agree.
Yeah. Could he be a top 10? Yeah. Top 15? Sure. But I can't put him even in my top 5.
There you go.
There's been some top 100 countdowns kind of eyebrow raising, but this one here was nuts. It was nuts. But I mean, we can't really go into arguing with the guys that actually are on the field with these guys. And I have to consider that, because if somebody outside of my profession that doesn't do what I do tried to rank me and go against what colleagues of mine have said about me, like, yeah, well, he's really good at this, and other people that I work with and in the same field are saying all these great things about me, and then somebody comes along who doesn't do what I do, doesn't even know where to begin, and then they say, well, he doesn't belong. Like, man, forget you. And I'm pretty sure Tyreek Hill will watch this and be like, man, we don't care what these two fools saying on this podcast. And then maybe some of the players that voted number 1 probably saying the same thing. So that's fair. But we're just fans, and we got a right to say what we want to say as fans. But
exactly,
that's the bottom line, because Pando said so. But yeah, so that pretty much is our show tonight. We're getting closer and closer. We are in preseason. We're getting closer and closer to the beginning of the regular season.
Yes,
a lot of us are getting very close to our fantasy drafts.
Yep.
We'll be talking about some of that stuff next week.
Yep.
We might talk about a few things that have happened. Like there's something that I'm dreading that's about to happen. I think it's imminent. And I don't, John Lynch need to get hit in the face with a bag of hot quarters.
Nice.
But we'll be discussing those things, contracts, discussions, trades, those type of things. And then we'll be talking about fantasy football, and because I know I'm in 2 leagues, and We could give some fantasy advice. If you have fantasy questions, you could come on and ask those questions because that's still part of the NFL. That is like the ultimate fandom of the NFL. We're just fans and you're just fans and we want to talk about football. So, Brandon, take us out. Tell us about the platforms.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do one more thing, okay?
Okay.
Let's wish your favorite quarterback of all time a happy birthday.
Joe Montana?
Okay? Today it is Kyler Murray's 27th
Oh,
birthday.
hell.
Let's get ready to wish him a happy birthday. And a one, and
He's
a
only
two,
27? I
one,
mean,
two, three,
I
huh?
thought he was 12.
He's 27. Okay, you
Oh,
ready? Ready, Eric? Let's sing it. Happy birthday to
can they
you.
blow out middle fingers on this?
Happy birthday to you.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Kyler Murray. Happy birthday to you.
I won't be part of this. I want to let you know that I'm holding up a finger right now, and it's not your number one. It's not that finger. I just want to let you know that. And for censorship purposes, I will not have my camera on. Okay, I'm taking it down now.
All right, there you go. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, show of all ages, that Eric misses Trent Baalke, okay? When John Lynch is no longer the head coach of general manager of the 49ers, Trent Baalke will be returning to the San Francisco 49ers. And he will hire Nathaniel Hackett to be the head coach.
Don't play with me.
Okay?
Don't play with me. Don't play
And
with me.
he will hire
Things bad enough as it is. Don't.
And he will hire Mike Nolan to be the defensive coordinator.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
All right. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, show of all ages, we are currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Okay. You can follow us on Twitter, IG, Facebook, and TikTok. Matter of fact, I should do a TikTok video soon. Gotta figure out what to do it on though. And you can listen to us on Google and Spotify, not Google, Apple and Spotify podcasts. Matter of fact, speaking of Google podcasts real quick, I just got an email from them today. They're not gone yet. They're supposed to be gone August 29th. I don't know when they're supposed to disappear, but so we're still on Google Podcasts, but don't subscribe to it, because at least not on the Google side, because that's going away in less than a month. So that's why I don't mention them. Just Apple, Spotify podcasts. All right. I am Coach Williams, the NFL Encyclopedia, that direction, Panel 316, the good guy with the black hat, who might be singing a chopped and screwed version of "I Miss You" to Brandon Ayuk whenever he gets traded.
Hang on, what I'm gonna be singing. I'm gonna be singing "Mind of a Lunatic" when I go looking for John Lynch. That's what I'm gonna be singing. I'm gonna be singing "F.U." by CeeLo Green. That's what. Hey Evie, hey sweetie. That's my niece. That's Titus' daughter.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Peace.